Good morning, traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the Morning Market Prep video for December 20th, 2024. Well, doggone it, we didn't get much of a relief rally yesterday and ended up closing the day back down near the lows, and this morning, unfortunately, we are continuing to move lower as volatility continues to, shake up the Santa Claus rally quite a bit here. Turns out that Jerome Powell ended up being the Grinch that stole Christmas. If we take a look at what happened overnight, what's continuing to happen, first off, Asian markets down across the board last night. Australia was down over 100 points. The Nikkei was down 111 points. India was down 364 points. We had Hong Kong down 3181. Shanghai was lower by just 1.96 last night. So a little bit of concern, I think, in the Asian markets as they continue to see their economies slow. If we take a look at European markets, decidedly bearish this morning. The DAX is down 1.40% or 279 points. FTSE's down 0.92, 74.52 points. And the CAC is down 1.11% or 80.68 points. So not feeling too happy there in the European markets as well. If we take a look at U.S. futures, well, we're kind of going along that same course. Right now, Dow futures are down 193 points. S&P 500 futures down 49.25, and NASDAQ futures are down $284. So looking pretty bearish here this morning overall. If we take a look at what we've got going on in oil markets, oil markets finding some more selling. We started to bounce up yesterday. The strength of the dollar is really having some major impacts on commodity prices. If we take a look at oil futures right at the moment, we're down $87 a barrel at 68.5 a barrel this morning. Brent crude this morning is also down at 72.08 a barrel. If we look at natural gas, however, natural gas is enjoying quite a rally to the upside here, pushing through the downtrend here in that chart. So any rest or pullback, I think, may set up a nice opportunity on natural gas. If we take a look at crypto's having a rough day this morning. Bitcoin down sharply, down to $3,832 a coin at the moment, or 4.03%. Ether is down sharply, down $271 a coin, down 7.99%, and we're seeing some pretty substantial declines in those crypto markets. If we take a look at gold here this morning, interesting on precious metals here, we've got gold actually looking a little bit higher after quite a decline here recently. But right now, gold is up $10.40 an ounce. Silver this morning still down just a little bit, down about 16 cents at $29.24 an ounce. Copper happens to be up about half a cent. Platinum moving up, and palladium still moving a bit lower here, but modestly lower, only down $1.70 an ounce. So if we take a look at bond yields this morning, well, bond yields have eased back just a tiny little bit here this morning. If we take a look at the U.S. dollar here, you can see we're gapping down here on the U.S. dollar after quite a rise here in that move, maybe coming back to test some support. But the 2-year bond declining back to 4.28%, 10-year is at 4.54%, and that 30-year stubbornly hanging in there at 4.73%. So clearly some pressure here in the overall market. So what does that mean for the day? Well, how about we settle in? Let's buckle up. Let's get ready for the Friday edition of the Morning Market Prep video. Good morning once again, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. Let's take a look at these index charts, see if we can't make a decision as to how we might want to approach the market for today. Remember, we want to look at these charts for what they are, not for what we want them to be. And as I speak, we are seeing futures continuing to fall right now. The Dow futures down 226. As we move through the morning, it's not getting much better. So you can see here on the diamonds breaking down through this next level of support in the chart, pushing on lower, clearly having a very rough day here. If the bears continue to have that inspiration, I think that next level down will be somewhere down in here on that chart. So watch that carefully if those bears continue to find that inspiration. If the bulls, however, find a little bit of inspiration, where you can see we might bounce back up and see if we can attack yesterday's candle low, see if we can push back into that resistance, and then breaking through that level, we would look just a little bit higher, see if we can attack yesterday's high. So watch that carefully in here. Clearly really rough situation here in the Dow, continuing to show that bearishness. We've been very overbought for some time, and now those bulls are kind of getting whipped about the head and shoulders here as those bears come in, and they seem to be really hungry. If we take a look at our SPY, still not a terrible chart, but obviously this sell-off here is beginning to get awfully heavy, pushing to the downside here, breaking through multiple levels of support. Yesterday, at the close, we gave up that little area of support in the chart and pushing on down here in the pre-market. So we'll want to keep a close eye on this, because if we continue to see this pressure, I see that possibility we could come down into this area of price support pretty easily in the SPY. Of course, if the bulls find any inspiration in today's data, then we have that opportunity. We could bounce back up and maybe see if we can attack this range up here, see if we can get back up into that area, and then of course past that we'd have the top of that candle if we can get through those, to see if we can get back up into where we opened yesterday. So watch that closely. QQQ feeling considerable pressure here today, moving sharply to the downside as we kind of deleverage from tech, and you can see right in here breaking some support in the chart. The next level lower would be probably right down in here. That's a fairly significant level of price support in the chart, so maybe we can catch a little relief rally if we do see that area. If the bulls, of course, reverse this today and we get a little bit of inspiration in the economic data, then we might have that opportunity to start pushing back up. We'll first worry about attacking yesterday's low and then push back up here into this area of price resistance. And then, of course, once again, that candle high that we had yesterday morning. IWM obviously very unsettled here, continuing to push lower. Now we're breaking. We not only broke the short-term uptrend, we've now broken the longer-term uptrend here in the chart, looking pretty darn bearish here overall. So any additional selling here, we might see a push down beyond this area of price support, and we might start reaching out down in these areas of the chart and headed toward this bigger support that goes back there quite a ways. A lot of price action support in there. If the bulls were to find inspiration today, I would say again just to push back up here to test the last couple of days of lows in here. Beyond that point, you can see we could come back up into this area of price resistance and then maybe attacking yesterday's high and the possibility of the underneath side of that trend that we have given up here in the last couple of days. Let's take a look at our VIX. Our VIX pushing higher here today. As you can see, pushing higher yesterday as we sold off into the close, breaking back through this resistance here in the chart, but just barely. So if those bears have anything to say about that today, and we continue that push, maybe we're up here attacking this area or even beyond that area on that fear that is building here this morning. And if the bulls come in with any kind of inspiration, remember we get some big data coming here before the bell, then maybe we could break back down below this area and start relieving some of that fear here in the overall market. Let's take a look at our T20s, our T2122. This is our best indication of a relief rally. I mean, yesterday we started up and then it just faded all the way back and we ended up just dragging right along here on the bottom yesterday. So we certainly have an upside opportunity. We are extremely oversold in the short term and a relief rally should be on the way at any time. Will that happen today? Well, as it looks at the moment, likely not, but we could see that relief rally begin at any time. So watch carefully for that. We have plenty of upside opportunity. We're going to need a little bit more momentum in the market to get something going though. And right now, heading into the holiday, you probably understand that potential that boy, by midday today, volume will likely drop like a rock and folks will be heading out for their holiday plans. So kind of keep in mind, we may not have the energy here. The other thing that, of course, the market is worried about is they thought they had a deal yesterday for a continuation or a CR, continuing resolution to keep the government open. But as of this moment, that bill failed badly, and now we're waiting to see whether or not they can come up with something else to keep the government open. Tonight at midnight, the government could shut down. And of course, that is creating some uncertainty here in the market. If we take a look at T2108 percentage of stocks above their 40-day, well, that didn't really do anything yesterday. We initially had a pop-up in here, but you can see just left a flat bar in there. Maybe that's indicating a hook and we can get a relief rally here soon, but unfortunately it's not looking so good. Only 18.33% of the stocks holding above their 40-day moving average. And if we look at T2107, well, it didn't improve yesterday either. It actually got worse, pushing down 42.5% of the stocks holding above their 200-day moving average. Now, you want to keep in mind there are a lot of downside opportunities if we continue to push this lower. If we take a look at T2101, we did see a breadth increase here yesterday, but it ended up being mostly on the bearish side. So breadth still coming in, those bears being pretty active here in the market. We're pushing back up here towards some resistance levels. Perhaps we're at that point where we can get that relief rally. We'll want to watch that pretty closely. Let's take a look at our economic calendar here for today. And our economic calendar, well, we have this morning a couple of things. First off, remember that this is a quadruple witching day, so look for quite a little bit of volatility in the market. We could see some really strange price action as everything gets repriced and allocated here for the next year, so watch that carefully. Then we have the personal incomes and outlays number here this morning. Now looking at that number, a little bit of mix in here. They're suggesting that personal income fell from 0.6 to 0.4 and that consumption rose from 0.4 to 0.5. And then when we start getting into those core numbers, you can see we do have a couple in here that are a little bit concerning. We're seeing month over month staying flat while the year over year moves up from 2.3 to 2.5. And on the core number here, 0.3 to a 0.2, they're saying the month over month decline. Well, that'll be interesting to see, and that the year over year actually went higher by a tenth. So watch this. Any miss in this to the upside could be devastating to the day. Anything that is a surprise where we get this lowering effect here could bring in some celebration. So watch that number carefully this morning. That comes out an hour before the open. And then we've got a consumer sentiment number coming in. They're kind of punting here, suggesting in consensus it just stays flat. So watch that carefully. Obviously, yesterday I had mentioned that I was really concerned about their numbers here in the Philly Fed. Clearly, our manufacturing is slowing down, and we're seeing that occurring in China. We're seeing it occurring in Europe. I think our economies around the world are in a slowing cycle, so we're going to have to watch this pretty closely. We've seen oil fall dramatically because of demand concerns, and that's a slowing economy. And we have really priced this market extremely high. We've priced it to perfection, and unfortunately what we're finding out is maybe we're not as perfect as we thought we were, and we're going to have to be watching out for considerable volatility as we try to sort out what the market really should be priced at the moment. If we were to take a look at our earnings calendar here for today, well, our earnings calendar, we don't have a lot going on that. As a matter of fact, what we have for notables, really not that particularly notable overall, but we do have a couple to be paying attention to. This morning before the bell, we're going to hear from CCL. CCL will be reporting, and Winnebago. WGO will be reporting. Looks like that one's made a decision to go lower. So those are the only notables for today, and with those big data points coming out first thing this morning here on the economic calendar, watch for volumes to drop off pretty quickly after we get through some of these data points here today as everyone escapes for the holiday. And you can certainly understand that, everybody wanting to get away, and this ugliness that we're seeing right now may just have people, washing their hands of the market and saying, you know what, I'm done until after the holidays. So watch those volume areas in here. Be really careful in big decisions here over the next few days. Because obviously volume is likely going to be very, very low. You could be ending up just trading with an institutional computer trying to generate some fees. Let's take a look at some stocks that could be setting up for today. But before we do that, everyone, if you could do me that quick favor, if this is the first time you've seen these videos, click that subscribe button on YouTube for me. I'd appreciate it. And also click that bell icon when it pops up so you'll be notified every time I post a video. And if you find these videos to be useful, do me that favor. Click that thumbs up button, leave a brief comment. That helps the channel to continue to grow. I get a lot of people watching the video, but not a lot of people leaving comments. So even an emoji, guys, counts. If you can do something like that, that helps the channel a lot. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Let's take a look at some of these stocks that could be setting up. Remember, everyone, these are not recommendations to buy or sell any security. Do your own due diligence. Be very, very careful in this market. And remember that anything is possible today as we kind of slide into the holiday. First off, let's take a look at some of the airlines. AAL, as bad as the market is, boy, the airlines are holding up pretty darn well. AAL setting up, looking pretty good. JetBlue yesterday holding in here, potential setup off of support and trend in here on JetBlue. So we're seeing some good price action in here. Of course, we were just looking at CCL for this earnings report. Keep an eye on that. That's still looking pretty bullish here overall. RBLX was holding in here yesterday. This morning getting a little bit of push to the downside, but watch that carefully here on RBLX. If it could reverse, come back around, it might be time to watch a little bit of those defensive type plays. Right now they're down here on the bottom, but we'll see if we can get a little energy coming into those here eventually and coming up off of these big areas of price support. Things that have been pushed down might be the place when we rotate out of tech sector stocks. This might be one of those places that would pick up and we would start to see some bullishness there. Take a look at Kroger. Kroger's a beautiful setup here for the day. Looking good in this hold of support, hold of trend. We just need a little bit of bullishness to come into market, and that could certainly have some upside opportunity. TC take a look at that. That's holding in here nicely, holding into that support area. Every reason to believe that could move up. LABD had a pretty darn good day yesterday considering the rest of the market, and we're going to start looking at a lot of these inverse ETFs as this continues. So a nice push through here on the biotech bear. Any rest or pullback in here, I think, sets up an opportunity now. If we look at stocks like SQQQ ETF inverse, Ultra Pro short, double short, if you kind of see breaking through that downtrend now, any rest or pullback in here sets up that opportunity. If you want a single wide PSQ is 1 for 1, and a big break of a downtrend, any rest or pullback would set up the next opportunity there. SH, if you're looking for a single wide in the SPY, that's looking very bullish here, pushing up, and any rest or pullback, if we can hold some support in here, I would say has an opportunity to show those bulls coming, or those bears getting their way in here. We would start an upside trend there potentially in SH. And RWM also a single wide on the Russell, showing those bullish moves here, breaking downtrends, holding. If it holds a higher low, I would look for that next opportunity. Of course, if we look at things like dust here on the gold miners, really pushing up through the downtrend, pushing up through resistance. So now any kind of rest or pullback in here may set up that next opportunity for some selling in that sector. So there's quite a few places here, and those inverted ETFs that are showing lots of potential. Take a look at UVXY on the VIX. Big breakthrough up here. Any rest or pullback again could set up a higher low. 2 times long the VIX, also stretching up. We might be able to break through some of this big resistance up here and then find that opportunity for an entry. A lot of these charts are also going to be in what we call a rounded bottom breakout pattern. If you take a look at like RWM breaking up through its 50-day, and we'll want to be keeping an eye on some of those stocks because those are good patterns to potentially trade. Taking a look at other places in the market, we really have some bearishness showing up in the financials. Financials breaking down through support and tried to bounce yesterday, but continuing to see that bearishness this morning. I think there's an opportunity here maybe to go ahead and fill this gap to the downside here in XLF. If we look at regional banks, KRE, you can see the fall in here very strong. I wouldn't want to chase it at this point coming into this gap fill in the chart. I think any rally back though now in XLE, KRE sets up that next opportunity to find a short trade somewhere up there along the trend. So watch that carefully. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities to find some short trades here in the market. I really don't think there's reason to panic yet, because when we look at the overall index, this really is the first shot lower in the market. And any sell-off in the market, this first reaction lower can be shocking. It can be really painful, but it would be the rally back that you want to be watching for. As we rally back up, if we contact any resistance and show failure, rally back up, create patterns in here like a head and shoulders pattern, it's usually that lower high where the selling really picks up. So we'll want to be watching that carefully on any relief rally back in these stocks, because that's where the real pressure could come into play. So with that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Apologize, I sound a little subdued here today. I was out late last night. We had a major fire in our area. I had there was a death in this area as a result of the fire. It was just a big grass fire driven by wind, and the firefighters are still out there this morning trying to put that fire out. It started around, right about the time market closed yesterday, and they're still trying to get that fire under control. So been a rough night around here. I want to wish you guys all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great results in your trading. For everyone here, if you're taking off for your holiday plans, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Be careful. Have a wonderful time. Travel safe. We'll see you right back here bright and early next week. Now remember, Monday there will be no videos. Right way options, hit run candlesticks will be closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We will be back. We'll have video out next Thursday. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful holiday. Wish you all the best.